Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Hannah Blackwell and today is the start of a new reading vlog in which I book taste test Abby Salter's reading taste. Thank you for tuning in. I am really pumped for this reading vlog because me and Abby have very similar reading tastes. I have been watching Abby for a good long time now. I'm a huge fan of her content. She is linked down below. If you don't already subscribe to her and you like my content, 100% you should be watching Abby Salter because she is really seriously a sweetheart with a lot of great content. She reads a lot of great books. Me and her, from what I can tell, have very similar reading taste. Abby was such a sweetheart to send me a list of books that were her favorites. So I'm just going to be like mood reading through her list. Hopefully reading 3 books. We're going to try for 3 books for this vlog, but we will see what happens. I will be starting this vlog with Ruin by John Gwynne. I don't have my copy here right at this moment, so it'll be popped right up here. But I will be starting my vlog with Ruin. Maybe it's a little bit of a cheat because it is the 3rd book in a series that I'm already enjoying. But one of Abby's favorite authors is John Gwynne. So I feel like it's super fitting that I choose now to be reading Ruin because John Gwynne is such a favorite of Abby's. And I will just update you when I have a good time to like give you like a good synopsis of The Faithful and the Fallen and Ruin and like where I am at, how I'm enjoying it. And then from there, we'll just mood read through the list that she sent me. Some of the books that Abby suggested that she really, really loves were books that have been on my TBR for a long time and that I'm dying to read. One of which is Daughter of the Forest by Juliet Marillier. Another one is Strange the Dreamer by Erin Morgenstern. And both of these are books that I'm hoping to actually read for this vlog because I really enjoyed The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, which I hear is quite similar. And then I've really enjoyed all the books that I've read by Juliet Marillier so far. Abby is also a huge fan of the Dandelion Dynasty, and I did technically put Grace of Kings on my TBR for October, so this would be another big contender. I might even try to go easy on myself and pick something a little bit less chunky because one of Abby's favorite authors is Sarah J. Maas, and I've never read the Throne of Glass series, and I could always start with Assassin's Blade for this vlog as well. Well, those are just a few of the books. There's plenty others on her list. Those are just a few of the bigger contenders for this vlog. We'll see what happens, but I will update you when I have an update. Okay, so I wanted to give you an update, and I am about 150 pages into Ruin, and I'm really enjoying it. Things are starting to pick up. Each book in this series so far starts a little bit slow and then just kind of picks up speed into like a crescendo at the end. So this book is going well. This is the 3rd book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. I don't think I gave you a synopsis when I started this video. So basically, I can't really tell you anything about this book without spoiling things from the previous books. But the 1st book, Malice, follows basically the beginnings of a war brewing in this world. And in this world, there are giants and there are humans, and they're basically used by these 2 like godlike entities to war. So there's this god war brewing, and we follow a cast of characters, and you're pretty sure basically like who the chosen one is. There is a chosen one trope in this book, but you're not fully sure because there's actually 2 different characters starting out that think that they are the chosen one, or what's called like the bright star. And so that's something a little bit different that a lot of books don't do. It's interesting that there's 2 characters that think they are like the bright star, the chosen one, the force of good, to, you know, the person who's supposed to lead people to fight the evil. But actually there's only one. It's a very like it's very violent, but like cozy in that it's got those very classic fantasy feels. It is like a medieval style fantasy. And because of that, it's very tropey. It's a bit gender biased. So there's a lot more male characters than there are female, and the female characters don't have a lot of power. But there are some that are fighters, and I'm so far, I feel like his female representation is getting a little bit better. I have had some issues throughout this series with there being times that I feel like the way that John Gwynn represents females is poor. It's done poorly. It's in a very stereotypical way, and he chooses times to have POVs, like main characters, then confirm another male's gender bias and sexism and praise it, even though that character is supposed to be like a representation of good. So there's a lot of times that there's just sexism going on, but I don't think it's written in the right way. It's not written in a way where it's not written in a way where John Gwynn says, but this is bad. It's just written as a factual thing. But so far in this book, at least, I'm not having any big issues. I think the worst issues I saw so far were in the second book. It wasn't so much in the first book. In the first book, there just wasn't much female representation at all. And so far, there's about the same amount of female representation as in Valor, but I'm not having any issues so far. I'll update you with my thoughts on that, as well as how I feel like the book things are just starting to really get going. And there's already been lots of like battles. He does really good like action scenes and like battles and fights and things like that, which aren't always really my favorite. I'm not like into a book that's like all action, but I don't know. There's something about these books that I just really enjoy. There's something very cozy to me, something that it rings of like Lord of the Rings and like Wheel of Time and that kind of thing, yet done in a more modern way. Very much like Game of Thrones, but less grimdark. This is not a grimdark series, though it is very grim at times. Anyway, I will update you when I have more to update you with. Okay, so you can probably hear my kids being read to, like my husband's reading them a book before a nap, but I am updating you guys because I literally just finished reading like a chapter, and I was like crying from how intense it was, and I was like shaking, but I've never cried just at the rush of a battle starting. That's never happened before for me. That's a new one. Now I kind of get what people talk about with John Gwynn and his amazing ability to write like battles. I knew he was doing a good job with it, but I didn't really understand fully until just now. And yeah, I'm feeling like this is going to be a 5-star book. I only have 80 pages left. I actually have loved his representation of women in this book. I'm like, what happened? I don't know. Like, it went 180, and I feel like things have just been a little bit different in this book. Maybe it's growth of the characters, or maybe someone said something. I don't know. But all I know is I'm loving everything about this book. And pretty shocked at the idea that I would like cry during a battle, and no one was like, it wasn't like, oh, people are dying or something like that. I wasn't like crying over the death of a character. I was crying just at the intensity of the moment. And that doesn't happen often for me, and definitely not because of the intensity of like a battle. That's not like the kind of reader I am usually. Sorry it's been so long since I've updated the vlog for this book. I've just been reading it, I guess. It's really good. I will update you like with more in-depth, like chaotic thoughts, like maybe tomorrow when I'm done, because I'm gonna finish the book today. But I don't know if I'll be ready to talk about it yet. So I guess I will update you guys probably tomorrow. Okay, so we're not going to talk about my most recent read because I'm not ready for that yet. But what we are going to talk about is what I'm going to read next. Abby sent me a list of actually a whole bunch of books that I'm dying to read. And then there's like a few books that I wasn't interested in, but not many, just some contemporary romance stuff. And I don't read that very often unless it is like spring or early summer. And then there was a bunch of books that I've already read that I adored. So, 3 of the books that I am dying to read, already was dying to read, were The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. The Night Circus is one of my favorite books of all time. Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. I've heard nothing but amazing things about the Dandelion Dynasty. It's like I think like Asian steampunk. And I've just heard amazing things about this whole series and I really want to read it, and I'm in an epic fantasy mood right now. That's all I want, is to like cozy up with fantasy. Sorry if you can hear my kids right now. It's just the time of day. And then finally, Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I can't turn my head on BookTube without seeing someone talk about this book and how amazing it is. This is a total BookTube darling, and I still haven't read it yet. I think I will. It is technically YA, but like an older YA, and I have had luck with those. I've heard the writing is beautiful, and I am the kind of reader that really does gear towards like really beautifully written books. I think I'm gonna, and then obviously books that are whimsical as well. I like those a lot. I think this could be one I adore. So those are all 3 books that I want to read. I know that I also really want to read Daughter of the Forest, but I'm going to be reading that for Once Upon a Readathon. And that's going to be actually starting in like 3.5 days. And I'm over here like, oh, let's start another 500-page book. Sounds great. But that's what I want, so I'm not going to deny myself. And so here we are. I am not sure though which of these 3 books I want to read. Like I said, I know the 3rd book I read for this vlog is going to be Daughter of the Forest. So that leaves these 3 books, and I think I'm going to try a chapter. That's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to try a chapter. So I'm going to read a chapter of each one of these books after dinner tonight. And after each chapter, I will update you with my initial thoughts and feelings on that book. And then from there, that's what's going to decide which book I will read next. Okay, so I just finished the first chapter of Starless Sea. This is going to be hard for this one because the first chapter was legit 3 pages. Not much to go on, and it was very much almost like a prologue, the way it introduces everything. Like, we have this pirate in a jail cell, and he creates a relationship with a girl that works there basically somehow, but in a very it's romanticized. What's described as like a dance that the 2 of these characters play in terms of them getting to know each other, and it ends with her asking him to tell her a story, and this is the night before he's supposed to be executed. So basically very similar to a prologue. I have to say I am very intrigued by this one. I love Erin Morgenstern's writing style. I adored The Night Circus. This is a completely different vibe, but still extremely well written, just beautiful. So, but I don't know if I'm in the mood for that at the moment. So, like right now I'm in the mood for like political epic fantasy. I want epic fantasy right now, and this is not that. So, we'll see. Okay, so I read like the prologue and like a few pages into the first chapter of Strange the Dreamer, and it was so similar in vibe to The Starless Sea, but I know that I'm not quite in the mood for something so whimsical. But if I was, it would be something like All the Way, like Erin Morgenstern. I don't know. I just wasn't vibing with it. And I don't know if I think that's mood, honestly. So I just didn't bother finishing this. I'm not gonna lie, I had a feeling about who would win this try a chapter session, and I was correct. The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. I read the first chapter of this. I don't even understand what people are talking about when they say, like, this book starts out so slow. It's mostly just like setup and blah blah blah. Like, the first chapter at least of this book is action packed, in my opinion, as a reader. It's full of immediate character development. I already care about these characters. Basically, you have these two kids that are in a crowd watching the Emperor's procession. There's these airships, which are really cool. And then there's someone who basically attempts to assassinate the Emperor, and in like a really cool way, with this like flying contraption, like basically hang gliding and throwing fireballs at the Emperor. And one of the friends saves this other friend's life by covering him up, and his friend who saved his life ended up getting like hurt in the process. Not badly, but he did get burnt. And yeah, so just basically setting up this really a complex world already, I can tell, that has different regions, different factions, different political groups. And this is a setup for a character-driven political epic fantasy that, yeah, there's no question this is the one that I'm going to be reading now, because this is totally what I'm in the mood for. And that first chapter was really, really good. So I'm definitely looking forward to continuing on. I will update you when I can tell you more when I am a little bit further into this book. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to the first night of sprinting on the first day of Once Upon a Readathon. Baffled that we're here. I just wanted to give a quick update. I am still reading The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. I think I'm about 100 pages in to that one, and I'm really enjoying it. It's super dense, and so I'm listening to it like just a little bit at a time. So I did start my second book of the Readathon, which is now begun. I don't know if I talked about it yet so far, but we are now in day 2 of Once Upon a Readathon. And so I have begun The Girl in the Tower by Catherine Arden. And this is also another favorite of Abby's. I think that she gave the 5th book in this series 5 stars, and I think that she gave like 4 or 4.5, I'm not sure, to the other 2 books in the series. She really enjoyed it. So I'm going to be reading this book as well for this video. So currently reading the second 2 books for the video, and this one I have just gotten to page 80. So I'm in the first half of both of these books, and I'm really enjoying it because the first, I had actually already started this book, and then life happened, and so I'm almost to the point that I left off last time now, but it's, I'm really enjoying it. I love Catherine Arden's writing style. It's so atmospheric. This is the second book in the series. The first book is The Bear and the Nightingale, and this is basically a story about Vasya, and it is set in the Middle Ages, or the medieval ages, medieval times, back before Russia was Russia, and when the Mongolian Empire was sprawling. And that's a lot of what's going on in here. The Russians are vassals to the Mongolian Empire, and so we have Vasya now, who is the main character. The first book sets up the whole story, and it's about Vasya when she was younger and then growing up, and the issues that she has with her stepmother, because her stepmother is a Catholic, a Russian Orthodox Catholic, and she herself is more of a follower of the old ways, and she sees spirits, and she sees these magical creatures, and so it's just kind of like a conflict between them. And so I can't really talk much about what's happening in this book because I feel like it would spoil it. But I'll just say it's a super atmospheric series that is perfect for getting you into the cold, wet weather kind of like vibe. It's just getting me ready for colder weather, and I'm loving it. Just reading it, you feel cold, you want to cozy up. Just the description in this series is amazing. So I'm enjoying that. I also like that during different points throughout this series, there are fairy tales and folk tales being told. At one point in this book, they tell the story of the snow child. And so, yeah, lots of retellings happening actually throughout the book. And I think the story of Vasya originally is possibly retelling. And so lots of retellings happening throughout the series. And yeah, really enjoying it. Perfect for Once Upon a Readathon, and also one of Abby's favorites, so perfect for this vlog as well. Okay, so I am about 2/3 of the way through The Girl in the Tower, and I am really having the best time with this book. It is so atmospheric. I'm loving the story that Vasya is going through. I'm enjoying her character's progression, and I'm enjoying the like new setting in Moscow, and the characters in the world kind of opening up more, and it still has that beautiful writing and the really cold, cozy atmosphere, and it's just super magical. And I don't have too much really to say, I guess, other than I'm just really, really loving it. I'm definitely feeling like this is going to be a 5-star read for me. And I mean, I don't see that really changing because, like I said, I have only 1/3 of this book left. So I just wanted to give you guys an update, and I haven't made any more progress in The Grace of Kings. I will probably move on to that, hopefully, after I finish this book. I just kind of got caught up in this, and I'm just having too good of a time to put it down. And I'm just listening to my audiobook right now while I'm doing a little bit of crocheting, and so I'm just gonna cozy up and get some more reading done. To give an update and a couple of reviews here, and I am hitting a bit of a scheduling situation here. I'm gonna have to actually finish up this vlog without finishing The Grace of Kings, which is kind of a bummer. I am still reading The Grace of Kings and I am still enjoying it, but I'm having to read it kind of slowly throughout the month because this is also a time when I'm wanting to read like a lot of fairy tale retellings, and I'm also wanting to vlog throughout the month too for Once Upon a Readathon. So basically 2.5 books read for this vlog. Still pretty good, especially because one of them was Ruin, which is I think like 800 pages. A big book. So anyway, so for The Girl in the Tower, I am giving this 5 stars. I feel like that's not really a big surprise considering how much I love The Bear and the Nightingale. And so I cannot wait to pick up The Winter of the Witch. I am just really excited to pick that one up. It's either going to be this month or next month. So we will see. But I definitely recommend continuing on with this series. I was a little bit nervous there for a while because of how much I loved The Bear and the Nightingale and how things are just kind of so different in this book. I knew they would be. But I definitely, if anyone else has that kind of like fear going into continuing this series, I would say just read the second book because it's different. Yeah, we're in a different situation in a different city, but the overall themes, atmosphere, and writing are all the same, and it's just beautiful. I adored this book. I felt Vassia's anger at times too. I can't talk too much about it though because it is the second book in a series, and that's kind of like difficult. But I will say there's a lot of themes of sexism and feminine rage, basically. New religion versus old, which is a theme that I love. And just, this is yet another book in this series that will make you feel cold to the bone. Definitely a great time of year to check this one out. I did want to mention Grace of Kings. Let's see. I'm just over 100 pages into this one and I am really liking it. I'm aiming to get back to reading 40 or 50 pages a day. That's what I was reading before, but then I got really into The Girl in the Tower and it didn't happen. But I am planning on reading this tonight. And funnily enough, I'm also about to pick up Daughter of the Forest. I just pulled it off the bookshelf. It is sitting on the couch next to like my seat on there. So that says something. I'm gonna do it. So it's almost like the Abby Salter vibes continue, and they will kind of continue into my next Once Upon a Readathon vlog. So if you want to know more thoughts on books that Abby loves that I'm reading, check out the next vlog that's going to be coming up in about a week or so because I'm still reading books that Abby loves. But yeah, I'll be continuing on with Grace of Kings and hopefully reading Daughter of the Forest. Finally, some of you might have been waiting for this. I never really gave a full finished summary synopsis of Ruin by John Gwynne. I just basically said like I couldn't handle and then just never brought it up again. This book was really wonderful. I thought that the character development was amazing. These characters are going places and the world building has been really like just rising with each book, as well as the story itself. There was a twist in this book that shocked me. It shocked me. I didn't expect that. So I can't say what I'm gonna say. Okay, all I'm gonna say is this series is totally unique. And I'm really loving it, and I cannot wait to pick up Wrath. I gave this book 5 stars. I'm loving that each book improves so far throughout the series. I gave the first book, Malice, 4 stars. I gave Valor 4.5 stars, and I gave this 5 stars. So I absolutely adored. If you like epic fantasy inspired by like Celtic history, I think. If you like epic fantasy, if you like battle scenes, epic battle scenes, and like medieval style world building, I definitely like European medieval style world building. I definitely recommend picking up this series because I'm just having the best time. I'm falling in love with John Gwynne's writing, and I'm hoping to finish this series by the end of the year. So I have a lot of plans in December, so I don't know if that's going to happen, but I would love for that to happen. Overall, I feel like this was a super successful reading vlog. Clearly, me and Abby's taste totally align because I gave the 2 books that I finished 5 stars, and I'm still continuing and enjoying Grace of Kings. Though I don't think it'll be a 5-star. I think that actually she even gave this like 3.5 or 4 stars, but she loves the series as a whole. So I'm predicting right now a 4-star. So we'll see where that goes. Definitely had a really good time with this vlog. I just, with my posting schedule, I need to continue on and I need to start my next vlog for Once Upon a Readathon, and I have other stuff like going on. I do record on my phone, so I have like limited storage as well. So I had to go ahead and get this vlog out. I'm sorry I couldn't finish that last book for you guys, but I will be talking about it later on in other videos throughout the month. So make sure to stay tuned. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, and you can click the notification bell if you do want to be notified every time I post new videos. Please leave a comment down below and let me know if you've read any of the books that I listed here. Let me know if you've read from any of these authors, and make sure to click the link below in the description to check out Abby Salter's booktube channel, because she has some amazing content and she's a total gem. If you do want to follow me on social media, all of my links are listed below, including my Goodreads, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Until next time, fellow readers, keep reading and living your best life.
Cause you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.